Hey there, it's Leslie at Leslie's Cookies and Treats, and today I'm going to be making the last cookie in our Scooby Doo series. If you missed the other videos, I downloaded some images from the internet and I sized them to fit my cookie and printed them out on some paper and put that inside of a sheet protector, and I am just going to put royal icing right on top of that sheet protector and color in these images. This is called a royal icing transfer, and my icing is all about a 20 to 25 second consistency. So I'm working from back to front, so I started with Fred's neck because that's going to be a little bit behind his face and a little bit underneath his shirt. And I wanted to give that time to dry, so then I moved down to his left shoulder and did the shirt there and did some of the lines in the collar and in the ascot so it would have time to set up. I'm letting the icing dry before going on to the next section, and I'm going to pipe in his shirt, being careful not to go over the line that indicates where his arm is. And because all of my icing is a 20 to 25 second consistency, I am going to need to use my scribe to smooth the icing out and settle it down. So there are a lot of advantages to using royal icing transfers. One thing is it does not crater, so you don't have to worry about getting air bubbles or dips in your icing. You also don't have to trace the image onto your cookie. It's already printed out and you just color right on top of it. You can pick the best ones to put on your cookie so every one of your cookie looks flawless. And it makes finishing your cookies super easy because all you have to do is stick it onto your cookie with a little bit of royal icing. So as you can see here, I just outlined the face and I'm flooding it in. Again, my icing is about a 20 to 25 second consistency, so I do need to settle it down with my scribe and bring it out to any points. And while we let his face dry, I'll move down and pipe in one side of his ascot. I didn't like how I filled that in. I got it kind of over the white shirt, so I took a very lightly dampened paintbrush, wiped off all the excess, and moved the icing to where I needed it to be. And we'll move away from the ascot and give it a chance to dry while piping in some of his collar. I'm letting each section dry for about 5 minutes at least before piping in the section that touches it. This will help keep separation between areas of icing so that it won't bleed together and become one. When you're making royal icing transfers, it generally helps to use a stiffer icing consistency. If you use a thinner flood consistency, it will tend to run all over and it doesn't stay where you put it. And the best way to know if you have the right consistency is when you can jiggle it down with your scribe or your toothpick and it settles down without too much effort. And it also stays in place, so it stays exactly where you put it. If it doesn't jiggle smooth, then you need to lighten up your icing just a little bit. So I'm piping his hair in sections, being careful not to go over the lines that I created in the center of the hair, and also stopping to smooth out the icing periodically because I don't want this icing to set up before I have a chance to smooth it. Because it's stiffer, it does set up pretty fast. One other thing I haven't mentioned about royal icing transfers is you do want to make a couple extras because unfortunately they are fragile and they can break. And now we'll go and finish the rest of his collar. I am going to pipe this section extra puffy because it is standing out closer to us. It's more in the front than the rest of his collar and his shirt, so I want this to be extra puffy. So I'm going to put an extra bit of icing in this area. However, on the back side here, this is in the back, and I'm going to put very little icing in this little point, but enough so that when I pop it off the royal icing transfer, it doesn't break. And now I'm finishing off the ascot, being careful not to go over the wrinkle line in the middle, and then I will set this aside to dry for about a good 8 to 12 hours. And again, I have my very slightly dampened paintbrush, and I'm just moving the icing where I need it and getting it off the lines. Okay, Fred's had a long time to dry, and I'm going to gently remove him from the transfer sheet using a stencil scraper from the Cookie Countess. To store your royal icing transfers, you just want to put them in an airtight container. And when you're ready to finish your cookies, just put some royal icing on the back of the transfer so it works like glue, and gently press it down onto your cookie. You don't want to apply too much pressure because you don't want to crack your transfer. If any icing spills out from underneath, just wipe it away with a damp paintbrush. And our entire Scooby Doo series is done. I hope you didn't change the channel. I hope you caught all the episodes. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this, please hit the like and subscribe button. I have new tutorials every week.
Scooby Dooby Doo!